Did you know that astronauts have successfully grown fresh lettuce on the International Space Station? That's right, NASA has literally taken gardening beyond planet Earth. If you're still wondering whether you can keep a simple basil plant alive on your windowsill, don't worry, you're definitely not alone. And there's good news. If they can grow veggies in outer space, you can absolutely conquer your own backyard garden here on Earth. Welcome back to Don't Do This Guide, where we help you avoid common pitfalls in life. And since it's the start of a brand new year, what better way to kick things off than by talking about gardening? Before we jump into resolution number 1, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you find it valuable. Seriously, it helps me out a ton and lets me know what kind of content you guys want to see more of. Alright, resolution number 1, grow something edible. Start small with herbs like basil, mint, chives, or parsley. They're practically impossible to kill unless you forget to water them entirely. But even then, they bounce back like champs. And the best part? You can use them in your cooking. Imagine this. You're whipping up some spaghetti and meatballs. And instead of grabbing that dried, flavorless oregano from the grocery store, you just stroll out to your backyard or your windowsill, snip some fresh oregano from your very own plant, and boom! Instant flavor explosion. Talk about bragging rights. Plus, growing your own herbs is a great way to save some money in the long run. You use half for one recipe, and the rest just wilts away in your fridge. But when you grow your own, you can pick exactly what you need when you need it. No more wasted herbs, no more throwing money away. And listen, there's just something incredibly satisfying about eating something you grew yourself. Resolution number 2. Compost your kitchen scraps. It's one of the simplest and most impactful changes you can make in your daily routine. Turn your banana peels and coffee grounds into pure gardening gold. These everyday items can be transformed into something incredibly valuable for your garden. Composting is nature's way of recycling. It's a natural process that breaks down organic materials into a rich, soil-like substance. You don't need any fancy equipment or a degree in environmental science to get started. Just a few basic tools and a bit of enthusiasm will do the trick. Seriously. All you really need is a container with some holes in it for ventilation and a willingness to get your hands a little dirty. It's a hands-on activity that can be quite therapeutic. Here's the gist. You take your kitchen scraps, things like fruit and veggie peels, coffee grounds, eggshells, even that soggy newspaper at the bottom of your fruit basket, and you toss them into your compost bin. It's as simple as that. No need to overthink it. Then you add some brown materials like dry leaves, shredded cardboard, or even just plain old dirt. These materials help to balance the compost and speed up the decomposition process. The key is to get a good balance of green materials, which are rich in nitrogen, and brown materials, which are rich in carbon. This balance is crucial for creating high-quality compost. Once you've got a good mix going, you just need to keep it moist, turn it over every now and then to give it some air, and let nature do its thing. It's a process that requires minimal effort, but yields great results. Within a few months, you'll have a pile of rich, dark compost that your plants will absolutely go crazy for. This compost will improve soil structure, retain moisture, and provide essential nutrients. Resolution number 3, plan a watering schedule and stick to it. Now, I know what you're thinking, watering? That's like the easiest part of gardening. And you're right, it is pretty straightforward. But you'd be surprised how many people, even seasoned gardeners, get this one wrong. See, the thing about watering is that it's not just about dumping a bunch of water on your plants and calling it a day. It's about understanding the needs of each plant. It's about finding that sweet spot, that perfect balance of moisture that keeps your plants happy and hydrated without drowning them. Each plant has its own unique requirements. Overwatering is a real problem, and it can lead to all sorts of issues like root rot, fungal diseases, and even attract those pesky little gnats that love to hang out in soggy soil. These problems can be hard to reverse once they start. That's where a watering schedule comes in. It helps you keep track and avoid these common pitfalls. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a simple plan that outlines when and how much you're going to water your plants. This can make a huge difference in the health of your garden. You can write it down in a notebook, create a spreadsheet, or even set reminders on your phone. Whatever works for you. The key is to be consistent and diligent. Now, the exact frequency and amount of water your plants need will depend on a few factors, like the type of plants you're growing, the climate you live in, and the time of year. Different seasons and weather conditions can affect your watering schedule. A good rule of thumb is to stick your finger about an inch into the soil. This simple test can tell you a lot about the moisture level. If it feels dry, it's time to water. This method helps ensure you're not over or underwatering. And remember, consistency is key. Regular watering helps plants establish strong roots and thrive. Plants thrive on routine, so try to stick to your watering schedule as closely as possible. This predictability can make a big difference. Resolution number 4. Companion planting. We're talking about strategic plant pairings, maximizing your garden's potential, and basically becoming a horticultural matchmaker. Companion planting is actually pretty cool, and it can make a huge difference in the health and productivity of your garden. Basically, it's all about choosing plants that play well together, kind of like finding the perfect roommates for your garden bed. Some plants, like marigolds, are natural pest repellents, while others, like basil, attract beneficial insects that help pollinate your crops. Some plants, like legumes, actually fix nitrogen in the soil, making it more fertile for their neighbors. It's like a whole ecosystem, right there in your backyard. Now, there's a whole science to companion planting, and it can get pretty complex. But don't worry, you don't need a PhD in botany to get started. There are tons of resources available online and in books that can help you figure out which plants make good companions. A few classic companion planting combinations include tomatoes and basil, carrots and onions, and cucumbers and dill. These pairings have been used for centuries, and for good reason. They just work. For example, basil is said to repel tomato hornworms, those pesky little caterpillars that love to munch on tomato plants. Onions, on the other hand, deter carrot root flies, which can wreak havoc on your carrot crop. Companion planting isn't just about pest control, though. It can also improve the flavor of your crops. Alright, we've made it to resolution number 5. Learn one new gardening skill and actually put it into practice. This is not just about adding another item to your to-do list, but about truly immersing yourself in the joy of gardening. Don't just watch a bunch of YouTube videos and call it a day. Actually get out there and get your hands dirty. Feel the soil, understand its texture, and connect with nature on a deeper level. This new skill could be anything that piques your interest. It could be something you've always been curious about, or a technique you've seen others use and wanted to try yourself. Maybe you've always wanted to learn how to prune your fruit trees for a bigger, better harvest. Pruning can seem daunting, but with the right guidance, it can become second nature. Or perhaps you're intrigued by the idea of grafting, where you can combine different varieties of plants to create something truly unique. This ancient technique can open up a world of possibilities in your garden. You could even try starting your seeds indoors, giving your seedlings a head start on the growing season. This method can be particularly rewarding as you nurture your plants from the very beginning. The key here is to choose something that excites you, something that you're genuinely curious about. Passion and curiosity are the best motivators for learning. Learning a new skill should be fun and rewarding, not a chore. It should bring you joy and a sense of accomplishment. So, take some time to think about what you'd like to learn, and then find some resources to help you get started. The journey of learning is just as important as the destination. Once you've got a handle on the basics, it's time to put your new skills into practice. Practice makes perfect, and the more you do, the more confident you'll become. Learning a new gardening skill not only makes you a better gardener, but it also keeps things interesting and engaging. It adds a new layer of excitement to your gardening routine. Hey, thanks so much for watching Don't Do This Guide. I hope you found these gardening resolutions helpful and maybe even a little bit inspiring. Remember, you don't have to tackle all of them at once. Start with one or two that resonate with you and go from there. If you learned anything new or got inspired to start or upgrade your own garden, be sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more guides, tips, and a few weird hacks that you won't want to miss. Remember, gardening is a journey, not a race. The important thing is to keep going, keep experimenting, and keep growing, literally and figuratively. Good luck with your gardening resolutions this year, and we'll see you in the next video.